Imagine investing in these superstars before they ever broke out. This is the place. This is where you come to know who to invest in on Mojo, the sports stock market. So make sure you tap in. The opening bell, hosted by Ray GQ and your boy Jay Rich. Let's make some money.
Let's get it. What's going on, y'all? It's October 3rd here over on the Mojo YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, like the content. That way, every time we drop some dope stuff over here at Mojo, you get it right to your phone. No issues, no worries. Jay, how you doing this morning, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. We had a great week 4 in the NFL. Lots to talk about. A lot of things going on in the market. A lot of movers. But Ray, I'm just excited to get into this show, man. So where do you want to start this one?
You know we got to start. The very first thing that we do is we check the market, baby. We got to see who's moving. Got to see who's shaking. Let's hit the sounder. Let's check the market. Let's get into it. So after this weekend of football, this past Sunday, we still got a Monday night game. We got the Rams and the 49ers. Should be a good one. I'm hoping for a barn burner in that one with Stafford and old Jimmy Garoppolo quarterback in those Niners. But let's take a look at some of the top, little bold. Let's take a look at some of the top movers over the weekend. So Justin Jefferson up 11% right now, 11.5% for Justin Jefferson, who got back on track in London versus the New Orleans Saints. 10 receptions, 150 total yards, and a touchdown. Jefferson is that dude. Your boy, and we're going to talk about him here in a little bit, Kenny Pickett is up quite a bit, Jay. 17%, almost 18% for the new starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you have been telling people since episode 1, go invest, go long on Kenny Pickett. How does it feel, Jay, to see your investment up 17% right now?
I'm excited, man. This is what we said. He's going to start sooner rather than later. Mitch Trubisky is awful. They made this switch, and I think they're going to be better for it. We expect him to start going forward, and that only means his upside on Mojo gets higher and higher, and that's why we told you to invest in him. So definitely excited about Kenny Pickett. He looked great. He threw 3 interceptions, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Put the pick in Pickett on Sunday, but
he certainly did.
He put the pick in Pickett, but he's going to be all right long term. See a lot of fallers, man. Rookie Treylon Burks is down. He got an injury. He's down 16%. Javonte Williams, the stud running back out of Denver, he's down 16%. Richie James, all the Giants, we'll talk about it. Giants fans, it's a lot of red, a lot of trending down for you old Giants fans. And we got some big risers. Bailey Zappi, the new starting quarterback, I presume, with the New England Patriots, up 23% today. Jay, it's looking good out there for some of the calls that we had talked about over the past couple of weeks on the channel. But I'm telling you, yesterday was all about the return of, one of your favorite rookie quarterbacks from the 2021 class. One of your favorites. You have been a big fan of Mr. Zach Wilson, who gave us this gem on Sunday. Look at Zach catching a touchdown pass from Braxton Berrios and then hitting the gritty all over Pittsburgh, all over, back to New York. Zach Wilson, what a performance from that young man, hitting the gritty all over the place. Talk about your boy, Zach Wilson, who, you look at the stats, Jay, I think it was 18 for 36, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 15 rushing yards. But that fourth quarter drive, that drive where they had 6 first downs, and he led them all the way down the field, Breece Hall punches it in to get that upset victory over Pittsburgh. How them Zach Wilson shares looking today?
It's funny, man. You look at the Mojo chart for Zach Wilson, and it is up and down and back up again. Zach Wilson, he was phenomenal. Honestly, it's people need to give this guy a little bit more credit than they have been in the past, because it's his first game of the season, right? They're adding in new pieces to the offense. They're bringing in new guys. People aren't sure how it's going to shake out. Zach Wilson got it done at the end of the day, up 4.48% and rising right now on Mojo. This is before the market opened today at 9 a.m. Like you mentioned, he did catch that touchdown, which kind of helped save his day. But New York Jets fans need to be excited, man. This guy is electric. We've talked about his arm. His decision-making is still a little bit questionable, but again, I do believe that he can be a long-term solution for the New York Jets. He just needs some seasoning, some time in the offense, but you saw in that second half, specifically in the fourth quarter, what he can be for the Jets, and now they have so many guys around him who can perform. I love Zach Wilson going forward.
Yeah, he's somebody right now. I mean, you see that price, $34.11. Zach Wilson, when you compare him to some of the other quarterbacks from his class, right? You got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones. He's in a situation where the players around him are helping him thrive as well. When you've got young
Yep.
studs like Garrett Wilson, when you have an Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, haven't even talked about him, but I'm pretty sure without even looking, his share price has gone up on Mojo as well because he is at this point a must-start tight end every week in fantasy, but developing into one of the New York Jets centerpieces of that offense to help them move the ball, a very reliable target, a security blanket for whether it's Joe Flacco, and we know that was a short-time fix, but now with Zach Wilson in the fold, giving him a big body over the middle to really be comfortable with, it's exciting times in New York, and I think when you look across the quarterback landscape, you have to be impressed with what you saw from Zach Wilson in his return to action. First action of the 2022 NFL season, Jay.
Yeah, no, you nailed it, man. It's you can't help but be impressed. People can poke the interceptions and the completion percentage, but on Mojo, that doesn't matter. The interceptions do matter,
Yeah, they
but at
matter.
the end of the
They
day,
matter.
it's about the yards. And when you look to see who he's compared to, he's still up in like got Carson Wentz land, guys that aren't necessarily going to do a whole lot more for us. But Zach Wilson, like I mentioned, he's a guy that I think can earn a second contract, and that's really what you're buying into. The top quarterback that's going to earn a second contract, you have Trevor Lawrence, who's way up there on Mojo right now.
Yes.
Mac Jones, I think, is going to have a second contract in New England, and
Yep.
he's up around $50, but going down because of the
Mac
injury.
Jones,
And then you have
$43.53 right now.
and that's with the injury. When he comes back, he'll bump up, right? And Zach Wilson, who's down at $34, I think you can easily say he can get to Mac Jones land in no time at all. And I think he can continue to do that. The Jets have built a great team around him, and it's just on him to perform at this point. And again, like I said, Ray, that's a bet I'm willing to make. And I'd be willing to put a little multiplier on that as well. Mojo does have multipliers. They cost you nothing.
Yep.
Nothing to put a multiplier on them. They had a 10x multiplier on Zach Wilson. If you put that on before the game, he's up 4.5%. That's 45%, Ray. And you'd be almost, 1.5 your investment initially. That's what you have to do on Mojo. Take advantage of these multipliers. If you really have the courage of your conviction, use these multipliers to make your money go a lot further than it would have otherwise. Zach Wilson, a great buy, and especially with those multipliers.
Well, let's talk about another great buy, your guy, and we've been talking about him, Kenny Pickett, who took over for Mitchell Trubisky on Sunday. And again, you look at the stat line, right? 120 passing yards, 3 interceptions, and I'll say at least 2 of them weren't really his fault, Jay. I'll say 2 weren't his fault.
2 weren't his fault at all.
2 weren't his fault.
2 for sure.
He punched in 2 touchdowns on the ground. Kenny Pickett, the goal line back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Move out of the way, Najee Harris. Kenny Pickett, and I'm looking at this, Jay, and I'm seeing where Mac Jones is. I'm seeing where Carson Wentz and Trevor Lawrence. I want Kenny Pickett. I want to go long Kenny Pickett at only $21.83. He's up 17% right now. And that's just with him taking over the reins as the starter. We've been talking about Kenny Pickett from day one on this show, Jay. I'm excited about his long-term outlook in Pittsburgh and also what you can make by investing on Kenny Pickett on Mojo over the long term. I'm feeling Pickett. Where you at with Kenny Pickett? Keep it real, man. Do you think Pittsburgh has something on their hands with this young man? He got George Pickens involved early. Pickens over 100 yards. Pickett to Pickens could be a combination we talk about for a long time.
Yeah, that first to second round connection, right? I think it's one that's going to flourish this season, and we love the other auxiliary pieces. We like Chase Claypool in the slot. We love Deontay Johnson outside. We love Najee Harris. And I think what Kenny Pickett brings to that offense is stability. That's what we've been looking for in Pittsburgh for years, stability. Big Ben was there for so long, but his arm failed him towards the end of his career. Now you bring in a new guy. Pittsburgh University graduate, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett. So already has the Pittsburgh faithful loving him. Again, you need him to bank that $21 worth, but that's right around Tyrod Taylor land, and he can go much higher than that. We saw Geno Smith have a massive game. Jared Goff making tons of money for people on Mojo right now. Kenny Pickett can be that guy. And I think the biggest thing people need to understand is that it's not just the player's performance, it's also the players around them that matter too, right? When you have a George Pickens, when you have a Deontay Johnson, when you have a Najee Harris that can make plays for you out of the backfield, can make plays for you outside down the field, it's just about Kenny Pickett getting the ball on time and limiting those turnovers, which I think he can do. Again, his first game, 2 tipped interceptions, not going to put it on him, but you saw the rushing upside, which definitely helps him. I think over the long term, Pittsburgh's done a great job at developing quarterbacks, and I think they're going to be able to do that with Kenny Pickett. He's a guy, I see at least 3 years for, right? So I think that's pretty good. and then potentially even beyond that. But again, starting 4 games into your rookie season, Mojo did not predict that. That's why he's up so much money right now in his share price. I think he will only continue to rise.
Well, in the correlation between Kenny Pickett and the weapons around him also have a positive impact on Mojo. You look right now. We talked about George Pickens. He's up 10%.
Yep.
10.4% for George Pickens, $9.37. Love George Pickens long term. I think that is a wide receiver that I'd be willing to invest in long term, as well as tight end Pat Freiermuth, who's up 2.73% right now after going out there 7 for 85, looking like one of Kenny Pickett's top targets. He had 9 targets in that game. It's the correlation between, Kenny Pickett, aka the quarterback, and his auxiliary pieces, his primary targets, that also see that share increase, right? Now, it doesn't always work out that way because you look at the Giants, right? And
Yep.
while Saquon Barkley is up a little bit, and a lot of that
Little
is
bit.
because he's just awesome, right? Look at his 24-hour swing. It's up, it's down, and then it kind of comes back to life just a tad bit. But the reason why Saquon Barkley isn't flourishing maybe as much as he should is, the Giants aren't very good. They are finding ways to win games somehow, some way. They have found some ways to win some games early this season, and they did beat the Chicago Bears 20-12. But his quarterback play, Daniel Jones, Jay, and I talked about Daniel Jones last episode, the week before last, about he is somebody that I am shorting. Here's old Daniel Jones right now, down 4% right now after his performance / injury. Even with the touchdowns, people see long term this team they need a change at quarterback, Jay. Daniel Jones isn't the worst quarterback. He's not completely awful, but he's just, what are you winning with Daniel Jones long term? Does he give you confidence as an organization that you can build around him for the future? Got a lot more confidence in Zach Wilson moving forward than I do Daniel Jones, Jay, and that's why I'd rather go long Zach Wilson, and I would be shorting Daniel Jones quite a bit.
Yeah, Ray, I think you brought up a big point. So one big thing with Daniel Jones, he's only banked $13 worth of value, so he still has to get you another $10. And the way he performs on the field, he's not a player who's going to be getting you $6-7 a season. So Mojo's kind of banking on him to play more than a season at this point. And I think, Ray, to your point, that's where we're getting concerned. He's in his 4th year. They're probably not picking up his option. And there is a ton of steam about a rookie quarterback coming to New York. They brought in Brian Daboll, hoping they could fix Daniel Jones. I think 4 games in, we can say he didn't. He's not going to turn Daniel Jones into Josh Allen. It's not going to happen. And so to think that he's going to put up another $10.80 worth of value on Mojo, I just don't believe it's going to happen. So I'm 100% with you. I'll be shorting Daniel Jones. And I think the biggest problem, like you mentioned, with Saquon Barkley is the quarterback play does affect all of the auxiliary pieces. So when Daniel Jones gets hurt and Tyrod Taylor comes in, it hurts the entire offense. It hurts the receivers. It hurts the running backs. And that's kind of how Mojo works. It all revolves around the quarterback, just like it does in real life, right? And so I am with you, though. Daniel Jones is 100% a short. Saquon Barkley, we'll see. He's performing at an extremely high level, but upside a little bit limited with the quarterback.
I think there's a lot of upside. When you look at him right now, he's the 3rd highest priced running back right now, only behind Ezekiel Elliott and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's balling. Derrick Henry is a future Hall of Famer. We know that. He's playing like that. Zeke, I can easily see if Saquon continues doing what he's done so far, 4 games of the season, we look back at the end of the year and he's the top running back on Mojo. I mean, people want to believe in Saquon Barkley. He's the talent. There was a play on Sunday. He catches the ball on the right side of the line, reverses field, vintage Saquon Barkley, man. It looked like he was back at Penn State. And you're just like, wow, that's the guy. So when I'm looking at value and players that I think will be able to move before the end of the season, and for users of Mojo to be able to capitalize on that value, I can easily see Saquon Barkley. You want to give him 31 rush attempts? You want to throw him the ball 5-6 times out of the backfield? I don't care if it's Daniel Jones. I don't care if it's, I don't care who it is, Nora Jones. It doesn't matter. Get Saquon Barkley the ball, and you're going to see his value go up. So I would be willing to invest in Saquon Barkley long-term, seeing as his share price right now is only at $19.47, and banking on him being the highest valued running back on Mojo before the end of the year. I'm all in on Saquon Barkley. He's fully recovered from that ACL injury 2 years ago. The ankle sprain of last year doesn't seem to be bothering him. And if the Giants want to continue to win, they've got to continue to throw Saquon Barkley the ball and turn around and hand it to him, regardless of who's playing quarterback. So I'm all in on Saquon Barkley long term, Jay.
So, Ray, quick question for you, just a little bit of contrarian, right? Because
All right,
I
go
need to bring
ahead.
up some other examples. Do you think you have a better career than Christian McCaffrey? Because I think that's the player that I would comp him to. Christian McCaffrey has a $17 share price on Mojo. He has $11 banked to Saquon Barkley's $7 banked, right? Running backs aren't going to bank as much value as quarterbacks
Right.
year over year, and that's important to mention. So again, Saquon Barkley, we are at this point, he has to get an extension, right? So you're looking at least
Yeah,
probably 2 or 3
yes.
more years of Saquon Barkley. And it's, do you think he can kind of outperform Christian McCaffrey? Because he's the guy that everyone said could be the next Christian McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey's been injured a lot. We've seen the same thing happen with Saquon Barkley. And so that's my only concern, right? Is what does the longevity of Saquon Barkley really look like? Is he going to be on that Christian McCaffrey path where he smashes? Best season of his career was his rookie season, has been kind of going for that, trying to meet that mark ever since. I think it's going to come down to your point, Ray, where I do agree is if we're shorting Daniel Jones, we're saying they're getting a new quarterback. If they bring in Will Levis, if they bring in
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, who you may see on Mojo in a couple of days, by the way,
Yeah.
if they bring those guys in, if they bring them in, Saquon Barkley stock, dude, going to the freaking, it's
Yes.
$22. It's 20.
Yep.
If they draft a first round quarterback, top 5, top
Yeah.
10, it's going up. And so that's where I do agree with you. If I'm going long for the career, he may not get all the way as far as he's going to go, but the user base on Mojo and the algorithm will be forced to give him more respect if they bring in a rookie quarterback.
I agree. Load it up. Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. And now the problem is they are what? How many wins do the Giants have now? They are 3-1.
3-1.
It's not,
but it's not
like
because of Daniel Jones.
They're not.
That's the thing.
But here's the thing: it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is they're not going to be in a high enough territory as of right now for the CJ Strouds, maybe the Will Levises. If Will Levis is being talked about being the number 1 overall pick, they're not going to be in a range to get one of those guys. So you never know by just sheer byproduct of
Do you want to know
finish.
what pick they have right now? They have the
It's low.
24th pick.
I know.
God,
I know.
But at this point, though, like I look at them, and you're just like, if they had a quarterback, they would be pretty. I mean, they have receivers too, but they'd be pretty good.
This is the counter to shorting Daniel Jones, right? If they do continue to win to a point where they are out of the sweepstakes for one of the top collegiate quarterbacks, they may be forced to. Because I'm looking across the quarterback landscape. Are they really better off with Jimmy Garoppolo? No.
No.
Geno Smith is playing out of his mind, but I can't imagine Brian Daboll going out to go bring in Geno Smith. We see what's happening with Marcus Mariota. We saw what happened with Mitchell Trubisky. We're seeing what happened with all these quarterbacks that have changed teams, and that's a great segue out of here. These quarterbacks that have changed teams, right, over this past season have been awful. Trubisky, awful. Baker Mayfield, awful. There was another guy that we talked about. He's terrible too. Carson Wentz,
awful. Matt Ryan,
awful. The only one that's playing well that changed teams is Geno Smith. He's the only one.
Yeah, but he's been there too, right? He's been there, been in the system and all that stuff. Yeah.
All the ones that have changed teams have been awful. So if Daniel Jones doesn't get it together and he's hurt and they go a different direction, boom,
way down.
That's what's gonna happen. So there we go. Go long, Zach Wilson. We are all in on him. I love Breece Hall. I'm in on Tyler Conklin. I checked Tyler Conklin before we got into this. He's up a little bit percentage-based wise. Garrett Wilson, we're still in on him. Giants, the only one that we want right now. Can I interest you in some Kenny Galladay? Can I interest you in some
God.
Galladay?
Okay. Oh, man.
No Galladay?
You talk about a guy
I just
fall
threw it
from
out
grace.
there.
Kenny Galladay.
I just
My
threw it out
goodness.
there, man. He had one
and Tyrod Taylor up as well, right?
Yeah,
Tyrod Taylor up.
Tyrod.
He's going to play.
We'll see. All right. Well, we appreciate you tapping into this episode of The Opening Bell. Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, tap into this channel for all the awesome stuff that we do over here at Mojo. We're excited, man. We're having a good time. We'll see y'all next Monday for another episode of The Opening Bell. For Ray, for Jay, we out of this thing. Peace out.